Hi, welcome to another video tutorial brought to you by plcreation.ca. Today I will show you HDR photography, okay? I'll talk a little bit more quickly. I'll skip some few steps because it's been 3 times I'm doing this tutorial all over again because I jump half of my time on YouTube. I have 50 minutes to show you that, and it's quite complicated process, but it's quite simple too. You only have to know all the steps. In fact, what is HDR photography? HDR photography is take three 8-bit, at least 3 8-bit JPEG picture and made one 24-bit TIFF with it. After that, you tone map and you save as a 8-bit JPEG. Okay? It sounds complicated like that, but in fact, it's not complicated. You have two choices to make your 3 pictures. All you need, you need at minimum 3 pictures. You can do it with 5 or with 7, but you need at minimum 3. I always use 3 because 5 and 7 I don't see quite much difference, so I use 3 usually. You need 1 pictures at -1 exposure. You need 1 pictures at +1 exposure, and you need 1 picture with the correct exposure, a middle one. Okay, that's why it's 3, 5 or 7, because you got a middle one. Okay, how you do that? You can do it on with a tripod with your DSLR. Some DSLR, most DSLR have auto bracketing. That's take 3 or 5 or 7 picture in a row with the difference exposure I'll tell you, and you can adjust when you auto bracket it. You can do it with not one complete step of exposure. You can do it with an half step or with a third of step, like 7 picture with a third of step, or 3 picture with 1 step, 1 minus 1, 1 0, and 1 plus 1. You can do it all manually, but if you do that on the shoot, in fact, you will need a tripod and you'll need a steady subject. If you do that with people, like this picture, you have to do that a fake HDR in Photoshop. A fake HDR in Photoshop, in fact, is a real HDR too, but it's not quite the quality as a real HDR on a tripod. But a real HDR on a tripod can bring really all amount of issue by moving camera, tripod, everything. You have to align it quite well. It's kind of pain in the ass to do it on a photo shoot. So usually I do it on Photoshop here and Photo HDR. Okay, if you go to just show you some example of HDR photography and how it's using. Okay, it's HDR photography is great for landscape and it's great to art portraits. Okay, just look at that landscape, awesome landscape in HDR. Okay, and if you look at a great portraits I saw here earlier, this one, if you take an old man with a severe visage, it will look like just awesome. It's bring pop up more detail, but how do you know it's an HDR? Here you don't know because it's just push just a little as much to make the job. Okay, that's the secret of an HDR. If you take an HDR like which one I saw earlier here, kind of desk. I'll show you another one. This one. This an HDR with setting push to the max. When you push the setting to the max here, what it will do? It will be simple. It will just do as it's like painted. It's like drawing. It's not the effect that I will teach you to achieve, but you can achieve that effect quite easily. Personally, I don't like this effect, but people seems to like it. I'm not here to criticize the artwork. Okay, so just bring that down. That's the original picture. Okay, what do you do in Photoshop? Pretty simple. You take an adjustment layer, you go to exposure, you save the picture as that. So you go to file, save as, you made your file HDR, and you save as a JPEG here. After that, in the exposure, you bring out to +1, file, save as, blah blah blah, HDR, JPEG, and you save that as a +1 here. Same thing with the -1. Okay, so you have 3 times the same picture with 3 different exposure. You can crash up this and just turn off Photoshop. After that, you'll need a program like Dynamic Photo HDR. It's the one I'm using. Okay, there's many others. I don't know them all. They all work pretty much the same, but the one I'm working with, it's Dynamic Photo HDR. So if you ask me a question about another one, I probably don't know because it's the only one I'm using. You can do it in Photoshop too, but I really suggest you to download and try Dynamic Photo HDR or on any other one than Photoshop, because in Photoshop tone mapping and adjusting is quite a little pain in the ass, okay? It's complicated. So you bring up your 3 different exposure image here, okay? Soon as your image are, sorry, soon as your image are in Dynamic Photo HDR, you have to attribute the exposure you given to. That's why you have to name it here. That's the +1, that's the -1, and that's the 0. That's why I'm rename it. So I said that this one is the +1. I said that this one is the -1, and this one is the correct one. So you hit OK. After that, Dynamic Photo HDR will try to merge those photos together. Okay, I said will try because it's doing a really poor job. In fact, it's 3 same photo. Dynamic Photo HDR don't have to align, but I have 2 vertical offset. You see, it's kind of blurry. Here, put that to 0. Just look at the other. They all align. All is 0. I know that will be okay. So you hit OK. It's merging those 3 images together. And after that, all you need to do is tone mapping. Okay, so when you tone map HDR, it's pretty simple. You'll see. Just take a little while to merge that image. You go step 2, tone map HDR, and there, where's the magic really is made. Okay, so you have some method here, kind of preset here. Preset. I said preset because it's not quite a preset. If I go to photograph it, I don't have light strength. If I go to auto additive, I don't have brightness, neither color saturation. Eye catching, I have them all. So use the one you want, okay? But I usually use either high catching or ultra contrast to begin with. So I'll do ultra contrast here, and if you play with natural or saturated, you'll see the detail pop up. You can play with dynamic light radius, you can play with all those things, you'll play with all those settings. When you're happy with it, you do process and everything like that. Okay, so I have done that. Just play with it until I'm happy. Soon as I'm happy, I hit OK. The trick here, push that baby, but don't push it too hard. If you push that too hard, it would look like a painting, and it won't look like really a good picture. Okay, the secret of a good picture is do it, but do it too much. Subtlety. So we would process everything like that. Okay, I'll close that up because I've done it already. Okay, after that you have your HDR right here that I've made. You'll see it's really too pushed up. I pushed up a bit more just to bring the detail I want to bring and keep out the other detail I don't want. So if I bring that in Photoshop here, I bring it here, I set the opacity to 63%, and after that I've done a layer mask. So let's do it again. Just put that over here. You stretch up, and because it's exactly the same picture, if you play with opacity, it will just change a bit the details around it. So you play with opacity. I said 63 was good, 62, and after that I've done a layer mask because that roof here is kind of dirty roof and I don't like it, and I don't want to see the girl here because in that photo I barely see her and I don't see the roof. I like it like that, but I want the smoke of the HDR because the smoke is awesome, and I want the bar of the HDR because it's awesome, and I want the hair and everything. Maybe I'll do a little work in the face here, smooth it up a little bit, but the 3/4 of the image is really awesome in HDR. So what we do, it's really simple. Do a layer mask, take a brush, put it in black, in foreground color black. After that you paint on the layer mask here to remove what you don't want here. So just remove that here, remove that here, like so. Then you pass kinda here, and that's exactly the effect I want to achieve. So I hope you like this tutorial. It's pretty simple, in fact. Even it's like more like complicated, it's really simple to do. It's quick to do it too, and it's pretty darn cool. So I hope you like that tutorial. You can look my other tutorial. It's my third tutorial in English, and I have one in French and one on Axialis in French too. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask in the comment section below, or subscribe for either new tutorial. You can add me to on Flickr if you want to see my work. Flickr, it's www.plcreation.ca on Flickr, and it's my website too, www.plcreation.ca. So here's my website if you want to follow my work. Feel free to ask any question you need. Thanks for watching. I hope see you soon, and bye bye.